Nityanandam, Namaste, and thank you for tuning into this video. If you're one of my long-term viewers, if you're somebody who's been with me from the beginning of this channel, you've seen so many different swings of subject matter moving from topic to topic. And maybe you're wondering a little bit why I don't focus on things I used to chat about in the beginning. So if we go way back to 2011 when this channel was brand new, you'll know that I spoke about a lot of mystical things that weren't necessarily on the surface related to Hinduism. I spoke about things like fluoride, like conspiracies, like all kinds of different subject matters, tarot cards, crystals, but especially what this channel became really known for are extraterrestrials. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video that I made called Coming Out of the Arcturian Starseed Spiritual Closet. I still get messages about that video. I still have people asking me questions about it. And I have a lot of feedback from people who are wondering two important questions. One thing people are asking me is, why don't I remove that video? Why don't I get rid of it now that I'm a Hindu sannyasi, now that I've taken the Brahmacharyam Diksha? Another thing that people are asking me is, did it really happen, and is it in any way connected to Hinduism? Now, the first thing that I'd like to say about it is, the reason I don't remove that video, I feel that my entire YouTube channel is out there serving humanity in a way that it brings people to the best gift available for them, the greatest boon to their superconscious awakening, and that's the connection to a living incarnation of Mahadeva. Paramahamsa Sri Nityananda Swamiji, my beloved Guru, the one who's given me Brahmacharyam, initiated me into the first level of sannyas. He is a living avatara Purusha, a Purnavatar, a complete embodiment of all the positive divine energies, and he's here to elevate humanity, to bring enlightenment, to make it available for masses. Now, I know that in the world, so many seekers who know that there's something more to life than what meets the eye, who understand that there's something worth aspiring for but don't know what that something is, get very drawn into mystical subject matters. I myself was one of them. When somebody feels bored with society, when they know that the textbooks at school are only giving a half-truth or a lie, when they understand that television is just brainwashing them, giving them misinformation, trying to make them into consumers, trying to reduce their state. When people like that find out about phenomenon like extraterrestrial visitations and star seeds and energy that permeates physical objects like crystals or like herbal medicine, when people who are seeking something more find something unknown, find something that society doesn't normally talk about, they're drawn to it like a moth to a flame. For that reason, I know that any video that I've ever made about extraterrestrials, about crystals, about tarot card readings, about all of those things, I know that these videos are going to directly appeal to people just like me a few years ago. People who are craving elevation, craving higher consciousness, craving something more, and who get interested in those subjects. Now, the entire context of my life, the reason for me to be here, what keeps me passionate, motivated, and inspired, is promoting the ancient Vedic civilizations, Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and obviously leading people to what I know is the best gift I've received in my life, a connection to Swamiji. So I keep these videos up, along with links to Inner Awakening, links to Swamiji, because I know that this is the best way people who are interested in starseed phenomenon can receive enlightenment. But besides that, to answer the second question, is there any truth to it? I would definitely not keep that video there if I felt incomplete about the information presented. If I didn't actually live that experience, if it wasn't something that I went through in my life, I wouldn't put it out there because that would be inauthentic. I made that video in the first place because I felt like I was sitting on a personal experience that obviously I didn't really know what to do with it. But I felt like this experience is something that I want to share. Maybe others out there can relate to it. At that particular time in my life, I was interested in revealing myself and exposing what I've been through and in connecting with others who have been through the same thing. At that time, I had no idea in which ways it may or may not relate to Vedic Hinduism. But now, I've been very blessed to hear Swamiji himself, Paramahamsa Sri Nityananda, an incarnation of Sadashiva, speak a few fascinating points about extraterrestrials. The first time I heard him mention this live and in person was during May Inner Awakening in Varanasi. Very excitingly for me, one of the people in the crowd, and I still wonder to this day if maybe it was one of my YouTube viewers, somebody in the crowd asked Swamiji, is it possible for a human being on planet Earth to have had a previous lifetime on another planet in another star system? And Swamiji said, yes, it's possible and it happens. He didn't elaborate any further than that. He didn't give any kind of explanation about what kind of people are like this. He didn't use the word starseeds. But he answered that question with a definitive yes. Later, in one of the discourses he gave, one of the morning message satsangs, which I highly recommend watching, each one is enlightening, each one is liberating, each one will raise your state. In one of those discourses, he was talking about the sweetness of Advaita, experienced in the ancient Vedic civilization. He said that in the Vedic era, there were no such things as borders. There was no such thing as a passport or a visa. Anybody on the planet could simply choose to live wherever they wanted, with any community with whom they felt a connection, without the need for bureaucracy. He said that back then, the state of Advaita, the non-duality experienced on planet Earth, was so high that even extraterrestrials could come and go as they pleased. Nobody was afraid of them. Nobody was hesitant about them. It was understood that they were simply other beings equal to us, in a different form. He said that at that point in time, even extraterrestrials could come and go. But at this point in time, not only extraterrestrials are referred to as aliens, but even people from other countries who immigrate without the proper paperwork are referred to as aliens. Of course, he was talking about illegal aliens, the political term. He said that humanity needs to get back to the Advaita we experienced in the Vedic era in order to raise ourselves and in order to grow. Now, in other discourses, I've heard him speak about extraterrestrials so beautifully, stating that they're not aliens, they're rishis, they're munis, they're devas and devatas, they're divine beings who come to planet Earth for the sake of the elevation of human consciousness. In Nityanandoham this past December, one of the greatest spiritual processes Swamiji has ever conducted, during one of the question and answer sessions, one of the participants asked him more questions about extraterrestrials, and it was one of the most exciting question and answer sessions I've ever heard with Swamiji, because he went into more detail than I've heard him delve into before. He actually said that the word alien should be changed to the word aligned. He said that when aliens visit people, when they come to the planet, they're always coming with a positive reason. Their agenda is the conscious awakening of humanity. He actually said there is no such thing as a negative alien. And he explained that when some people have nightmare-like remembrances, abductions, or fears about aliens, it's because they're misremembering what happened. They're seeing it from the wrong context. They don't understand the purpose of the visitation that they had. He said that literally there's no such thing as a negative extraterrestrial. They're all here for the awakening of humanity. And he named maybe 15 different terms, different titles in Sanskrit from the ancient Vedic tradition to describe who aliens actually are. Now, when it comes to speaking about extraterrestrials, there's another reason why I've kind of avoided the subject matter for the last few years. It's not because I feel in any way that it's wrong, but it's that I've felt in some points of time that it's not going to be serving anybody's good. When I published that video about my Arcturian experiences, I actually had some people write to me in private messages and also publicly in comments on that video, saying that the video made them really excited. They believed the story, but it also made them feel a little bit sad because they've never experienced anything like that. And a few people started to write me questions. How do I know if I'm from another planet? How can I tell if I'm from another star system? I really want to be a starseed. Is it possible? I realized if I talk more about this subject, it might be putting some people into an incompletion if they also want that kind of an experience but it's not happening for them. Now, I'm very strongly of the belief that every single human being on planet Earth is divine. It's not only my belief, I know that it's the truth because Swamiji himself has declared it. Mahadeva has declared it. The Upanishads have declared it. All the ancient Vedic scriptures declare this one truth. You are a divine being. You've forgotten yourself in the cycles of human incarnation, but you're coming back to the realization of your divinity. Besides that, one very beautiful truth shared in the Vedic tradition is that the past doesn't matter. It's what we do in the present moment. It's what we're creating for ourselves as we move into the future that matters. Now, if we make videos about the starseed phenomenon, about past lives, about who we've been, about what we've done, as long as those are inspiring people to live the best way possible in the present moment and to work towards a more enlightened, more Advaitic future, then that's great. But because I saw that one of the effects this video was having was that it was making people turn too much to try to find out who they've been in the past, not inspiring them to look forward to find out what kind of glorious, enlightened, divine beings they're becoming, that I realized it could make some people get a little stuck. So that's another reason why I've kind of avoided that subject matter. So I hope this is helpful to all of you now. I hope this gives you some clarity about it. I'm leaving the video up because I know that that video can be a link that brings seekers to the source of enlightenment, Swamiji. And I'm also leaving it up because I don't have any conflict with it. I'm not ashamed by that video. I'm not embarrassed by that video. I'm not ashamed of anything that's happened. Because whatever we do in any given moment, we do it with the information and the understanding we have at that point in time. Actually, this is directly Swamiji's quote. He said that completion is the realization that whatever you've done in your life, you've done with the best possible information available to you at that moment. As soon as you realize something beyond, when you receive updated information, if you realign your actions, realign your context, realign your thought process to that updated intelligence, you have no reason for guilt, no reason for shame. The growth and the expansion is happening. So if you've also gone through this, I know some people on YouTube, some of my early friends on YouTube who I knew before coming for Brahmacharyam, they used to make videos about their mystical experiences and star seeds, but then they started to delete those videos, feeling a bit ashamed about that because it's not as popular anymore. Maybe they feel it's less relevant to their life once they take up different jobs or start their families. I really want to tell all of you guys, there's no reason to feel guilt or shame about your past experiences. And as long as you're putting them out there to serve others, it's perfect. Now, in my last video, when I mentioned that I'll do one more video about extraterrestrials, I think I told you that I'll tell one story. So many people are asking me for more mystical stories, more spiritual stories like I used to share in the early days of this channel. So because I have to fulfill that, once I've committed to tell a story, I have to tell a story. So I'll tell you my favorite experience that I've ever had relating to extraterrestrials. Now, it's up to you to discern what this happening was, whether it was a dream, whether it was a fantasy, whether it was real and physical. Even I myself don't know exactly what it was, but I certainly enjoyed it, and it strengthened my connection with Swamiji, and it also strengthened my realization that there's no better place for me to be but here, the Bengaluru Adinam. This experience took place in 2011. At the time I was living in Vancouver, and I had a third-floor apartment on Heather Street. So it was a nice residential kind of an area. And I had a nice bedroom with a big window, I had a view of a school right outside my window, so I always woke up on time when the school bells rang. And one night, for some reason, I spontaneously decided instead of sleeping with my head on my pillow where it normally went, I moved my pillow to the foot of the bed and slept that way, kind of backwards. Normally, the way that I slept, if I looked over, I would see a wall on one side and the closet on the other. But the way I slept on that particular night, my head was aligned with the window. This is a significant detail because it shows that there was some pre-planning for whatever happened next. After going to sleep, a few hours later, I suddenly woke up, and out the window, excuse me, out the window I saw what I thought was a helicopter going back and forth past the glass in front of me. And I thought, this is so strange. Why is a helicopter flying so low? I lived fairly close to Vancouver General Hospital, so I thought maybe it's an emergency response helicopter. But then I kind of got curious because this helicopter was silent, and yet it was right there. The lights were literally outside my window. And that's when I sat bolt upright in bed and realized that can't be a helicopter. Helicopters don't fly so low on the third floor apartment. There were big trees right outside the street in front of me. A helicopter literally wouldn't fit between my apartment and those trees. And as I looked at these flashing lights, I realized this is a UFO. The moment I had that thought, I found myself inside it. It was a circular white room. There were two beings sitting on, they weren't even really chairs. I don't know how to describe this kind of furniture. It was obviously out of this world, no joke intended. But I sat centered between them, and there weren't necessarily windows. It's like it was a white room, but we could also see through it, especially on the ground. It was like a glass-bottomed boat. We could see down and out the craft. And one of them telepathically communicated to me, asking, "Do you want to fly this ship?" Naturally, I answered yes. And then another communication came. "If you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you want to be?" I didn't even answer the question. I didn't even have a thought. I just felt an instant nostalgic yearning for Swamiji's ashram. The moment that yearning was there, the moment I had the visualization of Swamiji's ashram come up in my inner space, that moment we were hovering in the air above the Welcome Center, actually above a plot of land right in front of the Welcome Center. I'm looking at the space right now as I say this. And I just overflowed with emotion, thinking, wow, these beings have come here to bring me just temporarily to my true home. I felt like I was given a personal free ride to India. And it was only after that experience that I thought, wow, if this really takes off, nobody ever has to apply for a visa ever again. Nobody will have to buy an expensive plane ticket again. Although I'm not sure whether it happened on a physical plane or on another plane. But in any case, once we were hovering there, they asked, "Is there anything else I'd like to see?" And I thought of the banyan tree. And then we were hovering over the banyan tree. I was looking at it and enjoying. And then I asked one of them, "Can I see Swamiji?" And the answer that came was a little bit funny. They said they don't have approval for that. And I can't say they used the word approval exactly, but it was more like we didn't have that jurisdiction. That wasn't a part of the deal. And after a few moments, I found myself once again in my bed, still awake. I don't remember how I got there. I don't think they flew back. I don't remember any kind of communication that, okay, this is over now, you're going home. But for me, that was my all-time favorite experience related to extraterrestrials because it was very vivid. It felt very real. And I feel like on some level, it was planned in advance because that was the one and only time in my entire life that I've ever gone to bed and spontaneously thought I should sleep with my head where my feet usually go. Somehow that happened. And I've never spoken about this publicly before. I've never even asked Swamiji about this experience before. Usually, I don't ask him about these kinds of experiences because I just take them at face value. They are what they are. I know I'm meant to be here. I know this is the best life path I could possibly be blessed to take up. But the reason I wanted to share this experience is that for me, this is what links the two worlds together. Before I came to know who Swamiji was, my spiritual path was basically revolving around Arcturians and starseeds and extraterrestrials, because those were the experiences I was having in my early 20s. After coming to know about Swamiji, I felt all of that is irrelevant. I'm a Hindu. I'm here for Advaita. I'm here for Dharma. I'm here for enlightenment. I'm here to follow Swamiji and to bring the world to him. That's the context I've set for my life. That's my passion. That's what I live for. But that one experience basically linked those two worlds together for me in a way. It let me know that all that I had gone through before coming to him wasn't in conflict with him. And even that the beings who I felt a connection with first were also there to bring me home. They were also there to bring me to this ashram. So if you've felt inspired by extraterrestrials, if you've felt some kind of a calling towards starseeds and that kind of mystic information that's very popular right now in the Western world, very popular in New Age circles, I just want you to know it does not in any way conflict with Hinduism or with the Vedas. Besides that, Swamiji has recently said that in the years to come, in the very, very near future, he has declared that extraterrestrials are going to make contact with humanity in a very public way. Somebody asked him, Swamiji, extraterrestrials have already made contact with people. And he replied very clearly, they're going to make contact publicly. It's going to become undeniable that we are not alone in this star system, that we're not alone in the universe, and that those who come to the planet from other planes are here for our awakening. They're here for our elevation. I'm very excited to find out how exactly that's going to happen, and I can't help but think Swamiji himself is going to play a major role in that awakening. So if you're also interested in that, don't miss out on coming to Bengaluru Adinam. If you have more questions about that, don't ask me because I don't have all the answers. Come to Inner Awakening, and when there's a question and answer session, why not ask the source himself? Why not ask Swamiji your question? Even I want to be there when you ask that question, because I always find his answers extremely fascinating. And let's see where this goes next. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the future videos. Nityanandam.